At the tender age of 19, she was already married with a child, had managed a bar as its mama-san, and even ran a Japanese language tutoring service. Over the years, she financially supported more than 120 men. By 56, she had swindled her way to a staggering $20.6 million. When she reached 62, she spent 8 million yen on plastic surgery, all to woo a dashing Thai man 30 years her junior. Living in a luxurious mansion, publishing her own collection of poetry, and surrounding herself with attractive young men. Who was this enigmatic woman? Her name was Setsuko Yamabe, born on March 3, 1955, in Mifune, Kumamoto Prefecture, Japan. She came from a humble background, with her father working as a bus driver and her mother a homemaker. As an only child, Setsuko was the apple of her parents' eyes, lavish with love and affection. Soon, she began to relish the attention and developed a sense of superiority. Accustomed to being adored, Setsuko quickly learned how to charm others with her cuteness and innocent demeanor. Though Setsuko wasn't particularly stunning during her teenage years, she was adept at utilizing her strengths to captivate men's hearts. In high school, she could persuade her male classmates to run errands for her willingly. Even when caught misbehaving by teachers, she could feign innocence and tearfully play the victim, causing male teachers to apologize to her instead. However, her flirtatious tactics did not go unnoticed by her female peers, who saw her as their rival. In this whirlwind of a life, Setsuko continued to leave a trail of bewildered and captivated individuals in her wake. The story of her extraordinary life, filled with ambition, manipulation, and an insatiable appetite for attention, will undoubtedly leave you both intrigued and amazed. Upon graduating high school, 19-year-old Setsuko was arranged by her father to marry a car mechanic 7 years her senior. By 24, they had welcomed a son and a daughter into their lives. One would think that their family was complete and content, but the mundane routine of daily life weighed heavily on Setsuko's shoulders. As her husband often traveled for work, Setsuko would seize the opportunity to adorn herself in makeup and revel in the nightlife. When she turned 30, she decided to leave her husband and embark on an unbridled journey of self-discovery. Free from the confines of her previous life, Setsuko quickly found her new hunting ground, the golf course. The men at the golf course tended to be quite wealthy, and she'd play the damsel in distress, seeking their help to improve her golf skills. Although Setsuko wasn't a striking beauty, she possessed an uncanny understanding of the male psyche. Through her interactions with men, she developed a winning strategy that would often leave them enthralled. For instance, after asking for golf tips, Setsuko would cheer and applaud her target, praising his skillful swing. This simple gesture fueled their egos and sense of accomplishment, drawing them to her like moths to a flame. Setsuko's signature tilt of the head and constant smile, combined with playful coquetry, left many men unable to resist her charm. Once they were under her spell, Setsuko wasted no time in amassing a fortune. She never explicitly asked for money, but her allure and wiles were more than enough to persuade men to shower her with extravagant gifts. Jewelry worth over 2 million yen and diamonds worth over 6 million yen were among her collection. Some were even willing to invest vast sums of money to open high-end clubs and bars for her. In the blink of an eye, Setsuko transformed into a queen bee, surrounded by an impressive network of wealthy men and endless riches. Her relatives often said that her words were like a siren's call, stirring one's deepest desires. Her captivating gaze and seductive expressions could attract any man with a pulse. Love, like war, is a battlefield, and Setsuko, accustomed to victory, could not bear the sting of defeat. When one of her wealthy patrons betrayed her, she employed a masterstroke to win him back. Transforming herself into a cultured, poetic young woman, she penned countless poems for the man and even published a collection. Moved by her words, he sought to reconcile with Setsuko, only to be met with a shocking refusal. Surrounded by a plethora of admirers, Setsuko hardly needed him. Her elaborate plan was simply to taste victory once more. Once he had submitted to her again, her goal was achieved. After all, why sacrifice a forest for a single tree? Over time, Setsuko grew weary of her hedonistic lifestyle and sought a more refined form of entertainment. After parting ways with her clubs, she opened a Japanese language school. As a charming and endearing teacher, she quickly attracted a flock of male students eager to learn. Setsuko's school continued to provide a significant income, but she found herself increasingly drawn to the company of younger men. Like many wealthy individuals, Setsuko loved indulging in lavish homes. Driven by her strong vanity, she spent a fortune building a luxurious mansion in her hometown, which she named Princess Palace. However, her carefree days came to an abrupt end when she turned 50. A friend's company, which Setsuko had once guaranteed, suddenly went bankrupt, leaving her saddled with over 200 million yen in debt. Accustomed to a life of luxury, Setsuko hadn't saved much over the years, and her bank account was empty, with credit card debts amounting to 100 million yen. Yet, Setsuko wasn't overly concerned. In her mind, all she needed to do was find 10 men to give her 1 billion yen each, and her problems would be solved. But she overestimated her charm and underestimated men's tastes. With young and beautiful women everywhere, who would be willing to spend a fortune on a 50-year-old woman? When her plan failed, Setsuko had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. However, debts must be repaid, and faced with aggressive creditors, she sought alternative means to settle her debts. Driven to desperation, Setsuko turned to high-interest loans, a temporary solution at best since she couldn't afford to repay them. Then, she came up with another idea: private financing. Setsuko embarked on a risky journey, navigating the treacherous waters of finance and debt, all while trying to maintain her allure and charm in a world that seemed to be slipping away from her grasp. Setsuko concocted a scheme where she claimed to represent major corporations like Toshiba and Sharp. She lured people into investing with her, promising not only the safety of their principal but also a staggering 25% annual return. She managed to keep her luxurious mansion, registered under her mother's name, safe from debt collectors. In her opulent home, she entertained guests and put on a show, using the money she borrowed from high-interest loans. Setsuko spared no expense, driving around in Jaguars and Mercedes, giving the impression of being well-connected and influential. Many people mistakenly believed she was genuinely working for these big corporations, and soon, she had successfully swindled a group of individuals. Under Setsuko's silver-tongued spell, many unsuspecting victims fell for her lies. For over a decade, she carried out this illegal fundraising scheme without being discovered. It is estimated that she deceived hundreds of people, with 41 victims in her hometown of Kumamoto Prefecture alone. In this small county, Setsuko managed to swindle nearly 500 million yen. Over more than 10 years, she deceitfully amassed a staggering 2.7 billion yen. With the money she had stolen, Setsuko returned to her extravagant lifestyle. Her favorite pastime was visiting exclusive clubs for male escorts. Spending 2 or 3 million yen per visit was nothing to her, and she lavished her companions with gifts like Rolex watches. Eager to maintain her youthful allure, Setsuko spent 8 million yen on cosmetic surgery and breast augmentation. With her rejuvenated appearance, she brazenly claimed to be only 38 years old, concealing her true age in a world that was becoming ever more obsessed with youth and beauty. Setsuko knew that she would eventually have to run from her debts, as she had no means to repay them. So, while she lived an extravagant life, portraying herself as a successful woman, she also prepared for her inevitable escape. In 2015, while traveling in the Philippines, Setsuko met a 32-year-old male escort who caught her eye. Standing at 183 centimeters tall, he had a chiseled physique, muscular build, and seductive tattoos that left Setsuko completely smitten. She lied about her age, claiming to be 38 years old and calling herself Eriko. In reality, her own children were already in their 40s. Setsuko was incredibly generous with her newfound companion, providing him with a monthly allowance of 1.8 million yen on the condition that he would not have contact with other women and serve only her. However, Setsuko reserved the right to maintain relationships with other men without interference. Despite the one-sided terms, the young man happily accepted this offer from his wealthy benefactor. In order to enjoy a carefree life with her lover, Setsuko purchased a luxury apartment in Manila, Philippines. However, good times never last long. Soon, Setsuko's deception was exposed, and she heard whispers of the truth catching up to her. Prepared for this moment, she used a previously acquired visa to flee to Thailand, hoping to evade the consequences of her actions. After fleeing to Thailand, Setsuko assumed a new identity, calling herself Erica. One day, bored and looking for excitement, she went to a local gentleman's club in Pattaya but found no one there who caught her eye. Disappointed, she stepped outside for some fresh air, and stumbled upon a Thai male escort being beaten up. Generously, she intervened, offering 5,000 Thai baht to rescue him. This chance encounter quickly blossomed into a passionate romance. The Thai escort was quite pleased with Setsuko, and although he suspected she was not truly 38, he didn't care, as he was only after her money. The couple got along so well that they even began discussing marriage. Setsuko bought a piece of land in Ubon Ratchathani, Thailand, where she built a luxurious mansion for her lover's family. She moved them in, covered her boyfriend's mother's medical expenses, and even hosted a private engagement ceremony. His parents proudly proclaimed Setsuko to be a wonderful woman. However, no one can outrun their past forever. In 2017, following a warrant issued by Japan, the Thai police arrested Setsuko and extradited her back to her home country. At the time of her arrest, she was dressed in a revealing white dress, dark floral shorts, and a cute black headband. Her youthful makeup and toned limbs made it hard to believe she was a 62-year-old con artist. Upon her return, Setsuko was sentenced to 7 years in prison for fraud, and permanently banned from entering Thailand. Unfazed, she claimed that with good behavior, she could be released in just 4 years. She dreamed of living in Laos with her Thai lover when she turned 70, but how could someone so focused on money ever wait for her? Setsuko, a woman who had always admired vanity, ultimately paid the price for her own greed. Though she lived a life of indulgence, hopping between money and countless men, she believed that she could win hearts with her wealth and cunning. In the end, however, she was left all alone, with nobody who truly loved her. Her mother passed away while she was in prison, and her children refused to see her. Now, all Setsuko has left are the memories of her glamorous life as she languishes behind bars. Let me know what you think in the comments section. And before you leave, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more. See you next time, and keep yourself safe.